Welcome to episode 6 of Deas and Dates with your favorite Long Island real estate couple. Today, we're going to be talking about our risky leap into real estate. If you don't know us, you're going to know us now on a much deeper level. And if you do know us, you probably don't know this side to us because we don't really disclose it, especially this one, because he doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for him or he doesn't want anyone to give him sorrow. But this is going to be a little deeper than usual.
I didn't know that was going to be, you didn't warn me. I don't care though.
This is going to be a little deeper than usual. So only a select few people really know our start into real estate and how it was super hard for us.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into it. So
should we do it? Because I saw the first question. Do we give background?
give like a little background, like kind of like a one sentence. Like I don't want it too detailed.
Okay, cool. When we started real estate, I got kicked out. My family doesn't speak to me anymore. I live with Natalie and her family.
Done. Let's get to it. All right. So when everything was going on, what do you think the most stressful part of this whole situation was? Because we were starting a business, we were young as hell, and a lot of shit was going on. So, like, what was that first week like?
It wasn't even real estate. It was more of us. It was more of the relationship, the pressure and the stress that it put on us, just like that.
Yeah, I've not talking about it. I didn't even want to really talk about this on here, but I think it kind of brings a different perspective because we're kind of the dancing couple on Instagram and TikTok, and no one really knows who we are behind the scenes and the struggles that we overcame to even get to this point and be able to sell as many houses as we did and build as many relationships as we did with what we were going through in the beginning.
Yeah, so it was more of the struggle of trying to figure out the relationship side of things. We weren't even, honestly, when we got licensed, we weren't even in it for probably the first 3 months. We went through for at least 2 to 3 months of just every single day beating each other up.
Like crying, confused, like, what do we do? What's life going to look like? How are we going to overcome this? It was a lot of the unknown. And I think that the first week when we were trying to get our real estate license and going through this whole situation, we were just like really lost. Yeah. And we didn't really know how to communicate because we were like, is it a bad thing that we're together? Is this all happening because we're together? Is this all happening because we're moving too quick into real estate? Like, what was the thing that started this all? Because
we also went into this before we've even been together for a year. Like, we've been together for a year and 2 and something months now. But if you think about it, that's like a very short frame period of time to get into business together and to take that leap, but then also to almost lose everyone else so quickly. It just puts so much stress. Like, we were like, as was going on, we were taking the test. We were trying to get it in the hardships and the struggles it was to focus on the test, but also to deal with that.
Yeah, we were going through a lot of stuff at the time when we were taking the test. And this is my first time, I'm going to say it. I failed the test 4 times before I actually passed. I think I passed on the 5th test.
Yeah.
And I am like straight A student, test 90 and above. I've never failed. I would literally want to end my life if I failed. Like, that's how bad it was, like the anxiety. And I failed the real estate test 4 times because we were going through so much. And I couldn't even like fathom what was going on, and it literally like teared me down. So the first 2-3 months, if you were working with us or you were our client, that wasn't even who we were. We were like effed up, to be honest with you. Like, we were a whole different person. I didn't think I was even going to come out of that, to be honest.
And I think that's almost why we still learn to communicate today, because it's not something that was like 6 years ago. Like, it was still pretty recent.
Still recent, and we just freaking keep going. And that comes into my next question. Did we ever second guess it? Like, when this was all going on and we were starting real estate, were we ever like, I can't do this?
Can we be honest?
Yeah, I said it every day.
Yeah. You said it every day. You doubted us being together. You doubted the business. And for me, I don't know. For me, it's the way that I think and see things differ. So like, there was like a little parts of me every once in a while, but my biggest thing was like I don't regret anything. This has to happen in order for us to be where we want to achieve. I feel like.
Yeah, I doubted real estate every day. I'm like, we're not making money. We're in a building phase. We're going through a lot of shit right now. Like, what are we going to do? And I doubted every day. I was like, should we just go back to work? Should we go get a second job? Should we do this? Should we do that? And my mind was all over the place. Like, I don't.
Because we also, not only did we get into real estate, we quit our jobs immediately. Like, we honestly quitted them a little early, like extremely early.
And everyone judged us. We were like judged big time for quitting and like, what are you guys going to do? You're not going to be making money. Like, everyone doubted us in the beginning of starting real estate. And now where we are, and in our first year, the amount of families that we're helping, now everyone wants to be on our team. Now everyone wants to be on our side. And in the beginning, when we were like distraught and we were going through so much stuff, we had this much support.
Nothing.
And where we are today.
She's putting up a 0 sign for everyone who's listening on Spotify.
Yeah, putting up a 0 sign. Because you need to realize that when you get into business and you're doing something that's actually going to benefit you and you are striving to be somewhere where you want to be, no one else is going to see that vision besides you. So you need to really take it with a grain of salt, and the lack of support, use it as fuel to get where you want to be, because it's going to be hard when you think that no one else is on your side. Luckily, we had each other, and that's all we had in the beginning. So that kind of leads to my next question of, did these experiences test our relationship, and was there times where we wanted to give up on each other?
Oh, 1,000,000%. To answer the first question, this tested our relationship like no other. And this is part of the reason on why I am so set on with us that like I don't even feel like we are together. I feel like we've already been married for 40 years, because it doesn't matter about how long you've been together. It matters about the experiences that you've gone through, and the fact that you stood by my side throughout all that when you had every out possible. You literally could have walked away because of how short of time we've been together. It was probably like, let's just say, for instance, like 3 to 6 months in. Like, you could have easily walked away and not looked back, and no one would have judged you. And instead, you stood by my side the entire time. You fought for me. And you were there. You were there the entire way.
Yeah.
So it just showed, it tested us because
tested our loyalty, and it tested, should we be together or not? Like you said, that was an out. We both could have been like, he could have been like, hey, I'm done with the real estate. I don't want to do it. I'm just going to go back home and call it a day. And I could have been like, get lost. Like, this is too much stress for me, because I was going through a lot at the time and I couldn't really fathom what was going on. So it affected our mental health. But, we broke the wall and we were like, no, we're sticking together. Like, I don't know if many people would do that, just because like the way like people value family and the way I value family too, and the way he valued family too. I don't think that anyone would really like choose this path over.
Think about it. The whole reason why we are in this at 19 and 20 years old is because we want to give a family a life that they can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So for us to do this because of our dreams of having a family, and for that to happen, it's actually crazy to think about.
Yeah. If this, let's say, like, God forbid, we, like, a couple months ago, we were like, screw this, and we gave up, where were we gonna go from there? Like, what was the backup plan?
There was no backup plan. Like, at least like from my perspective, like, I was so set. I was like, there's no backup plan. There's nothing else, because I wholeheartedly believe that if you're in something 110%, and you're actually in it, you're not saying it, you're in it. There's no failure. There's no quitting. There's no not success. Now there's failure. I said that wrong, and that failure is the stepping stone to success. The minute you try and ignore the failure is the minute that you fail.
Yeah. I'm sitting here right now as we're speaking, and I'm like, what would I be doing without real estate? And I have no idea. Like, I truly love it. I truly love where we are at right now. I love the clients that we've had.
What we've been able to achieve.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
I have no clue. Yeah,
it's like a big part of us now, really.
It's
big
our
part
life.
of us, our relationship. It's our life. Yeah. So with these family issues, what did our day-to-day life look like at that time? Like, I don't even know. Crying,
Fights, a lot of
big time fights.
big time fights. Yeah.
We were so separated but together, if that makes sense. We were together but not together.
Not connected.
Not here.
Connected.
It was more just like,
the heart.
what are we going to do? Like, we're sitting here together. Is this right? Just second guessing and questioning everything that we were doing was kind of just how life was at the time, and doubting real estate, doubting our relationship. I mean, that gets you nowhere. So to be able to overcome that and be where we are today, it's honestly, I don't know. I think that it's good that if you're watching this, I think it's good that you know this side to us, because we took a lot to get here. And if you think that we're ever not going to get you a house or sell your house for top dollar and do everything that we can to get there, you are so wrong. And that's why we're so confident every time we walk into an appointment. We are so confident that if you work with us, that we're going to exceed expectations, because we put our blood, sweat, and tears, and
We've sacrificed everything.
We sacrificed everything to get to that table with you, and get to that buyer consultation, and get to that listing appointment, and get you on to the next chapter of your life. When we didn't even want to get to this chapter, we're friggin' here and we're doing it. So, what's some unexpected lessons you think you've learned from that experience? It's more so you. Is there any patience? Speaking for you.
Patience is a extreme huge one. It was. Like, I don't know how to understand, like, how to even, like, describe it.
He lost his car in the meantime as well. So we've been driving together.
Yeah, well, to give background on the car, you're right. To give background on the car, I had a truck, and I've wanted a truck since I was probably 5. Like, I remember driving in the car and my parents pointing out and being like, I'm going to buy you that one day. And it was like a Corvette, and I was like, I don't want it. I would point to the like the rusted, broken down truck. I just loved the feel of it. I also put so much time into it, right? I did so many things myself, right? I painted things. I installed new stuff on it to make it mine. Put a lot of money into it, and for how badly I wanted it, that was where the patience came.
Yeah, because he was like, I want a new truck. I need a new truck. And he would be on the dealership website every day. And I'm like, you're not getting a truck right now. And it wasn't to be an ass. It was almost to just be like, let's focus on building. Let's focus on getting to the point where we could get something that
is better than we could have imagined.
Yeah. So basically, that day that he came into, we were at my parents' restaurant, and he's like, I have to go drop my truck off. And I was like, what? And I just remember being frozen, like I was shaking and crying, and I drove him back, and we never saw the truck again. But
that's
like, this is like a movie, and like there's so many moving parts, and you may be confused. Like, I was just as confused as still am confused, and I don't get all of it. But yeah, no truck. But
it's not even like there was something in my head that
unexpected lesson. I guess
that's what I learned. The unexpected lesson that I learned is that never give up, but there is a million answers to every single problem. For instance, like, part of the reason why I couldn't get a car after that is because I couldn't get insurance because of how young I was. I was getting quoted like $40,000 a year. That's people's salary. How am I supposed to pay someone else's salary just for a car alone? And the fact that we've learned, or one thing that I've learned, is never give up and be persistent if there's a million issues, is every time, like, but behind everything we've ever done, there's been 5 no's. There's been 5, like, for instance, we just purchased a car, right? There was 5 or 6 no's. Someone said, I can't give you insurance. It was $40,000. I can't give you insurance. I didn't get approved. It was $10,000. All this. 5 no's behind everything. And we still went through it. We were persistent about it, and we got it. People told us that your monthly payments are going to be too excessive. It's not going to be feasible. Your insurance is going to be too high. It's not going to be feasible. And I would just always go, okay, great, next. Okay, this person said no, next. Let me find someone new. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I learned that there's a million correct answers. There's not one. There's a million, and you just have to get past the no's to get to the yeses. That's like the biggest thing I've learned out of everything.
Yeah. What have I learned from that? I think more.
You definitely learned patience too.
Patience, more so like you can't please everybody, and you kind of just have to do what's best for you, like, and not in a selfish way, more so in a way that's like, yes, I was overwhelmed, and yes, I wanted to protect him. I also wanted to see the other side, but at the same time, you have to really figure out what's best for you and your mental health. Because if I feel like if I was so caught up on it and I didn't try to get over it, I would have lost myself, and there was no reason to lose myself in something that I couldn't control. So just letting things play out how they're supposed to, and not trying to be in control, and figure out, yeah, I can't even speak, but that really is what I learned, that you can't be in control and you have to do what's best for you, because I wouldn't
The world
be
is selfish.
here right now if it wasn't for just like dropping it and just moving forward.
Going.
Did the situation affect our initial business plans? Did we have to pivot our strategy, do you think?
I think there was just like a lot of like blank parts. Like now we didn't have a job. Like so we quit our job and moved in together. It's like, right now, how are we gonna survive? Like how are we gonna do? How are we gonna eat? How are we gonna drink? How are we gonna drink water? But like how are we gonna do all this?
Did it affect our initial business plan? I don't think so. I think it made us work even harder. Yeah, it lit fire under our ass. Like past brokerages, whatever we've been through, like we kind of just had our path and we just went down it regardless of anyone what was said. So I think that it kind of sped up our business plan, because we were like probably expecting to only sell 5 houses, and we've exceeded that. Especially at our age, it's impressive, and I don't really get impressed by much, and we are nowhere where we want to be. But I think that our initial business plan is far less than where we are now.
I never thought we'd be doing a podcast. I never thought we'd be on social media like we are. I never thought we would be getting our clients, and the best clients that we could ever get, from TikTok and from Instagram. Mm-hmm. Like that's where our friends, our relationships start at. I didn't think we'd be there this quick. And yeah, to put it on the list, it put a fire under us. And I think some people, it would have shut them down. It would have hurt them.
Yeah. Do you think that the experience shaped our approach to taking risks in business and in our relationship?
Say it one more time, sorry.
Do you think that like the experience that we went through allows us to take risks in our business? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was a big one that
I think it. Sorry,
no.
I think it gave us like. Weirdly enough, it gave us confidence. It gave us like a you only live once type of mentality. I know that's so cliche to say, but because people just are like YOLO. But it's true. You only live once. And I think that's the mentality it gave us. It's just like, let's do it. Let's go after it. Like we're going to achieve it.
The biggest thing that we did is, and we would say it is, there's no going below that point. Like we hit rock bottom. There's only up from there. Like there's no such thing as more failure, because we had nothing. We got to a point where we literally had nothing except for each other. So there was no going down. There was only going up, and that's part of the reason why we had a fire under our ass, is because what else am I gonna do? I'm gonna fail again. I'm gonna go back right to this point. Cool. I can only go up from here.
I mean, we're at such a low point that the fire's still there, and even though we're selling houses, like some people who've been in this business for 40 years, we're probably selling more or equivalent. It doesn't make us like, oh, we're comfortable. Like, no, the fire's still there, and we're like, how can we sell 30 more? How can we sell 40 more? It's just like, I think that experience allowed us to really see life in a different picture and say like, okay, when you are down, you have to figure out how to get back up. Otherwise, you're going to lose yourself and lose each other. So, just keep pushing. So I think when we get into these arguments and we're like, oh, like we want to curse each other out, we're like, okay, we were there blank months ago. So like we've been through it already. Let's really get past it.
Yeah. And listen, we still have our arguments. We're still a normal relationship.
Yeah.
I just think that allows us to get past it. Like, for instance, the other day, we had the argument about the Shirley thing. And it's just like in the morning, it's just we both feel like shit because of everything we went through, how we stood by each other, and the stupidness that there was behind it.
Yeah, like you probably could tell.
I could have laughed about it.
This story is kind of choppy, I feel like, but
we're leaving out parts.
we're leaving out parts, but not even that. I feel like when we talk about this, it's so choppy because we're so overwhelmed with it, and we don't really ever talk about it because it brought us down to such a low point in life that, like, when I look back at it, like talking about it right now, I'm like heart racing. But after this, I won't think about it. It's weird. Like, after this podcast, I won't think twice about it because, like, where we are now is so, like, it's so far gone, and it's so crazy to say because in the moment, it was such a rough point, and it's just like, how do we get here? And it's all because we stood by each other, and we didn't let anything get in the way, and not even the family situation, but we had other people in our ear and mentors, and our goals were unrealistic, and we've kind of been through it. And people don't know that. Like, people probably see, it wasn't just that.
It was people in the industry.
People in the industry, too.
People doubting us, people saying that our goals are unrealistic, that we have to taper our expectations. And hearing all of that just put more of a fire under our butt.
Yeah, hearing that instead of doing real estate, we should be assistants. Like, that kind of changed our perspective, too, because it's like, we're just starting out, like, are we a threat? Like, cause we're so consistent on social media? Like, you could do the same, and that's how we see life. Like, what we're doing, anyone else can do, but we're just figuring out a way to just do it better. And not even in a cocky way, in a way where it's like we've been through so much that we're not gonna let anything get in our way. So I think that some people might see us as like, oh, they're so annoying, they post every day, oh, they think they're posting what they do on social media, they're posting their life, they have appointments every day. It's not to show off, it's not to flex, it's to say, like, where we are now, we weren't months ago, and we've took every single day to get where we are, and nothing's getting in our way.
And we don't fake anything.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I love, is that if we're not doing anything, we're not going to post that on our story. If we're not going to pull things from last month and put on our story to make it look like we're busy all the time. We post authentic stuff. We post who we are. We've learned from that experience that life's not worth being fake. I rather I'm sitting on the couch and eating Cheez-Its than you think I'm out showing $1 million mansions. Like, I could care less about what other people think. So we post what we're doing to show. Not to show people that we are consistent, and but to show that we are who we say we are.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to other couples that could possibly go through the same, making a similar leap, like career choice, relationship wise? Because I think that sometimes people overlook. I not overlook, but I feel like you never know what's really going on in someone's life, and you kind of just think that you have it worse, but then you hear a story and you're like, wow, I think that's bad. Like, look what they're going through. And I feel like being in the business and listening to other people's stories and their backgrounds and where they came from, you kind of just think to yourself, like, okay, life could be worse. Like, I should not even complain once. So, like, what advice could you give, do you think?
Learn to speak to each other. Learn how to communicate in a way that you both understand. Make it so that in your relationship you can say to the other person, "Hey, I'm mad. Like, let's just take a minute." Hey, listen, I'm annoyed. I'm gonna say things that I don't mean. Let me take a minute. But also, learn to admit when you're wrong. Like, for instance, when we were driving to Shirley the other day, and I yelled at you. Afterwards I was like, "I'm sorry that I said that. I didn't mean it." Like, be okay with being vulnerable with your partner, but also be honest and communicate in the right way.
Off topic. What do you think? What happened to you in your family situation? Like, what's advice you can give to someone that could be going through the same situation with lack of support?
Call us. I got your back. I'm being so serious too. You can literally DM us on Instagram and say, this is what I'm going through, and I'll give you my phone number, and you can call me, and I'll just talk to you. I'll tell you what I went through, how I got past it. But
if you're on the other side, and you don't know what to do, and this might be happening to your partner, your sibling, your family member, whatever it may be, my biggest advice is I know it's like, I don't know if this is a bad thing to say, but try not to get as involved, because you don't want to, like, take the blame, I guess you could say. Like, you don't want to get in the position where you feel like you're the one to blame, because you'll live with a lot of guilt. So try to step back and let things figure itself out, because at points I was like, is it me? What do I do wrong? And I was beating myself up, and the more you, like, go and feel the guilt and feel like it's you're just going to be below everybody else. And that's where they want you to be. So really just, like, stay neutral and be able to, like,
hold the other person's hand. Just
hold
support
the other
them.
person's hand. Like, be a support system. Don't try to take the blame and feel like it's you, because you're going to be in a really dark place, I say.
Yeah.
So just be the support system.
And don't try and
figure
don't think that you need all the answers then and at
Yeah.
that point. You know, like it's okay to not know. It's okay. And use each other as a support. And if you're trying to even get into business together, learn how to talk to each other, right? Learn how to understand each other better, and be each other's rock. Be the person that the other person can go to. Because the minute that you lose that and you ignore that is the minute you're going to lose in life and in your relationship.
Yep. So
Love
that's
you.
our story. That's our story. It was kind of all over the place just because at that point in time we were all over the place. So I'm glad that we were able to get to this point. We're able to celebrate our wins, and it really hasn't been a thought in our head because we've really surpassed that point. And where we are now, I didn't even think we would be here this soon or make it here based off the series of events.
Yeah.
So if you ever have any questions about this, you want to know a little bit more about our story, you can relate to us, you want to talk to Nick about what he did and how he kind of overlooked it to become successful in the business and in our relationship, then you can give us a call or DM us. Sold by Nick and Nat. Let's get on to the next episode, and thank you for watching.